important plans, like ones that will stop the hostile takeover of the entire world. If we know one thing about the people that are trying to destroy our country, it's that they can't keep their mouths shut. Their pride makes them announce their future plans. We saw it when Bill Gates and his friends coincidentally had a mock role-play scenario last year about what it would be like to have a worldwide pandemic and how they would handle it. Then a few months later, it actually happened. Then we had the Transition Integrity Project report, which, among other things, talked about how they're going to delegitimize claims of... And they did just that, which led to a senile man becoming our president. Now we have things being laid out like the Great Reset and Joe Biden's Build Back Better, which are basically the same plan that leads to the same thing, which is global communism. No joke. Using the excuse of a climate change crisis and the possibility of more pandemics, these plans promise a whole new system where we take all the terrible things about modern-day communism, pretend they're really great, and then force the entire world population to comply with them. This system will include things like having a social credit score like China does, a vaccination pass that allows you to travel and conduct business, worldwide surveillance, being kicked out of society for non-compliance, the redistribution of your hard-earned wealth, and the absence of bone-in ribeyes. I'm being dead serious. They don't like meat. One of their favorite slogans for this new world order is, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." Well, I own this and... I'm very happy. I'm just saying. Would you like to be forced to put your hard-earned assets, your home, your property, and the fruits of your labor on the altar of making the world a more equitable place with the false promise of better weather? Yeah, me neither. Because where I come from, which is a place of rationality and proven historical fact, communism doesn't end well for the common folk like you and me. So remember how I said they like to announce their future plans? Well, here's a tweet that I took a screenshot of, and I'm glad I did, because it's since been secretly deleted from my social media pages, and the original post is gone as well. It comes from Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum, who is rolling out the Great Reset Plan. The World Economic Forum is working with the Biden administration to ensure that most people will survive the coming food shortages. Citizens that have up-to-date vaccination documents will receive regular packages of plant-based protein products. Wow, that sounds delicious and slightly insane. Most people will survive the coming food shortages? The vaccinated will receive plant-based protein packages? And, you know, what a coincidence. His buddy Bill Gates just bought up a bunch of farmland in our country. About 242,000 acres worth. Perhaps he's going to be growing all our plant-based protein. I'm guessing it's going to be soy because it keeps men wearing overly tight pants and, more importantly, avoiding aggressive physical warfare. What I'd like to do now is go over Bill Gates' new short video titled, "This is how we prevent the next pandemic." I think it has some interesting statements that will help us prepare better for what's ahead. So I'm going to let him say something, and then I'm going to respond with my statements, and then I'm going to let you decide who you think is being more forthcoming with what's coming. Let's get started.
We all want to return to the way things were before COVID-19.
Okay, we're a whole 1 second in. Here we go. So we all want things to return to the way they were before COVID-19. Let me ask you a question. Do you really think that Bill Gates, the progressive left, the Biden administration, and all the corrupt politicians really want things to go back to normal? He and his friends are literally pushing for a worldwide campaign called the Great Reset that will completely transform the world for the worse. But yeah, we all want things to go back to the way they were. Let's keep moving.
But there's one area where I hope we never go back. Our complacency about pandemics. We can get ahead of infectious disease outbreaks. By the next pandemic...
All right, by the next pandemic. I want to address this because I know a lot of you are going to be saying, he said the next pandemic. How does he know we're going to have more pandemics? But here's the thing. We've already had a lot of pandemics, and now we're going to have a lot more because they know, the powers that be know that we're so easily manipulated and controlled by them. But a pandemic is simply when an infectious disease spreads across an entire country or multiple countries. We had H1N1 and SARS, and they came and they went. But the difference is they were allowed to be played out naturally in society with a short virus life cycle, and also they weren't used for worldwide political manipulation. Let's keep it rolling.
By the next pandemic, I believe we can have what I call mega testing diagnostic platforms. They can be deployed quickly, cost very little, and test 20% of the entire population every week. We also want to get treatments out far faster next time. One of the most promising is monoclonal antibodies. These manufactured antibodies grab onto the virus and disable it just like your immune system.
Monoclonal antibodies. Despite the way Bill Gates says it, monoclonal
is monoclonal antibodies.
Monoclonal antibodies are manufactured antibodies that grab onto the virus and disable it just like your immune system. So if they do the job that our immune system does, why aren't we teaching people how to build up and strengthen our immune systems instead of pushing experimental drugs that can have serious side effects like infectious mouth sores, heart attack, and death? Because money, that's why. I'd like to see Gates talk about getting vitamin D from the sun, eating healthy organic food, and I'm not talking about his plant-based crap, getting exercise, and how to reduce stress so we can better fight off sickness. That would make a huge difference, but that's not how he and his friends make money. So there you go.
And disable it just like your immune system and can reduce death rates by as much as 80%. I also think that we'll develop new vaccines quickly, in large part due to this new mRNA platform. mRNA will become faster to develop, easier to store, and lower cost. That's a huge breakthrough.
New and faster mRNA vaccines. Yeah, considering the one just released has had over 10,000 seriously bad reactions to it, over 500 people have already died from it, and those are just the ones that have been counted, and that our immune systems are more effective, that's going to be a hard no from me. Moving on.
To stop future pandemics quickly, we need to be able to spot disease outbreaks as soon as they happen anywhere in the world. And that requires a global alert system. If there turns out to be some new infectious pathogen, then we need a group of infectious disease responders to spring into action. Think of these as like pandemic firefighters. They're going to use their logistics, use their ability to build up capacity quickly. They're going to go wherever that problem is. Stopping the next pandemic will require a big investment. But I think of this as the best insurance policy the world could buy.
Okay, let me translate what this whole thing means. On your cell phone, you are going to have a required app that allows you to report a possible outbreak, the Global Alert System. So if grandma wears too much perfume one day to church and 6 people around her sneeze, and then there's an overly fearful citizen nearby, they can go on their phone and report to the Global Alert System that 6 people in one room sneezed in the period of 10 minutes, and then a task force is deployed. That task force will come and question and examine everyone that was in the room, and they'll know who you are because your phone will tell them that you were there, and they will also know everyone else you have come into contact with since. All of you will be quarantined, probably in an off-site location, until they know that you were just allergic to bad perfume and that you don't have Ebola. Don't believe me? They're already doing something like this in Canada, holding their citizens against their will in hotels with no outside contact until the government says they can leave. Oh, did I mention that Justin Trudeau is a big proponent of the Great Reset?
The global community must not give up on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. In fact, we should seize this opportunity to do even more. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
All right, one more thing.
It's like pandemic fire.
Wait, pause right there. Zoom in and enhance. More. There. Do you see it? It's the outfit that's supposed to be worn with deadly viruses. It's a bit different than this. I just wanted to point that out. These videos, tweets, and plans may be scary and concerning, but I look at them as a gift. Thank you, psychotic world leaders and businessmen, for sharing your future plans for us. What we do now, Patriots, is get to work on preventing, stopping, and preparing for what's ahead. I will be back shortly with a video on how we can do just that. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this video with your friends who would benefit from it. And if for some reason it gets taken down, which I'm about 95% sure it will, please visit my website at goodpatriot.com or the Warrior Poet Society Network, and you can watch it there. I'm Good Patriot. Thanks again, and God bless.